Hey, welcome to episode number 3 of me and Zach and the old Ain't No Hobby podcast.
Ain't no hobby, son.
But before we turned it on, we were, what were we just talking about?
We're talking about popping peas.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a popping pea is what we got these filters for. If you don't have them, your peas, whoa.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. That's a popping pea right there. That's about the biggest one I ever heard.
Well, what it is the microphone. I mean, I'm no mic guru, but it like the air.
Yeah, the sound pressure level.
Yeah, affects the input of the microphone.
It gets to be too much.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, we were talking about how don't worry about it too much because we're not in the studio recording. But man, when you are in the studio recording, you hear the craziest things. Your ears get so tuned in. They can be recording with a full band, and you'll hear a little squeak, on like a acoustic guitar, or the piano player is moving his foot funny.
Yeah. I got a somewhat funny story. When we were doing one of the Frank records a couple years ago, Frank was doing a song by himself in a chair, and the studio had a kind of a wooden floor, really cool old vibey kind of studio. And the song was just Frank and his guitar, and there was like a little squeak in the chair a couple of times or something.
Mm-hmm.
And later, when it was all done recording, and they were listening through everything, they heard it. And obviously, wasn't going to go back in there and re-record it because the performance. The whole idea was to just be live, and it was amazing,
Right.
And now I think they kept it all. They might have took out a few parts. I really don't remember. But I do know that Rob had a friend that works for a company, and I'm not sure of the name. I got an idea, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say. But they make different plugins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they made a certain audio plugin, or which is a software program for those that don't know. And they can take that track, and I guess it just takes every single sound and makes it digitally like from a frequency mode, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that can be heard has its own place in space and time, if that makes any difference.
Okay.
And they can pick out where the sounds that are not in line with the guitar and the vocal. And so they could actually remove that. Is that making sense? Like they could go in and remove that sound.
That's tough software. Like
it's amazing.
That's hard to do that stuff.
Yeah, it was. So I don't know if they actually use it, but I know they had the ability to.
Well, the thing about a lot of that is it's a whole different thing listening to a recording in your car versus you're sitting there in the studio with $20,000 monitors hearing the chair squeak.
Yeah.
But it's hard to separate yourself. You'll hear that later on when you're in your car. You'll hear that sound, but me as a listener or someone else as a listener that wasn't in the studio, they probably aren't going to hear that squeak. Like I've listened to certain songs, famous songs from the 90s, from 2000s, whatever, and all of a sudden something will stick out. There's the song, you probably don't. The song "To Become One" by the Spice Girls. Woo! It's a burner, son. What do we used to call them? Mm-hmm. Fire track? No. Slow burner. It's a slow burn. There's some weird little squeaks and things, like imperfections in the track, and I heard it just recently, and now I can't hear anything but that.
Wow.
Like it. But most people never hear that stuff.
Well, even I don't even always hear it, and I'm there. But I'm not necessarily a critical listener. I mean, I consider myself a generic listener. I mean, I know what I like and that sort of thing. But sometimes I'm also a fan of things that are accidental, like a chair squeak. And in the case of that, where Frank's playing by himself, the whole idea of him sitting in a chair, playing his guitar all by himself.
Absolutely. You can have realism.
That's what it sounds like.
Exactly.
It's not a joke. Like,
that's right.
I could totally see some artists in today, but that sounds too. We got to make that sound more. Let's put some chair squeak in there.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing: people don't realize that haven't been in the studio while a track was being made is 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100 these days. You don't sit there with the band and play the song down and then you sing on top of it and that's it. you go, everyone's isolated, every sound is isolated, everything is cut and chopped and just edited till it's not real anymore. I mean, quote unquote real.
Yeah.
It's
radio ready.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they call it. Yeah.
The songs you hear, the sounds and the songs you hear on the radio, they don't sound like what you hear when you're in a room with somebody playing music, and there's a reason for that, because everything has been edited, everything has been chopped up and put in time correctly, everything has been isolated and EQ'd and compressed, and there's so many things that you do to modern music to make it sound the way it sounds. We had a guest in the studio one time when we were doing a Frank record, and didn't you say that they didn't realize, they watched us record for a while, and then they watched us probably do the same 2 or 3 seconds 100 times, and later on they're like, I had no idea that this is what it was like. I thought you all just went and played the song.
Yeah. People don't realize it, don't know, and that's fine. Sometimes you don't want them to see behind the curtain. You don't
want to see sausage being made.
No. That's very true.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy the studio as much as I used to think I would before I really got to do it. I mean, I'll do it a couple times a year, and that's all I can handle. Some people are built to where they love it. I don't particularly like just listening to every inkling tiny little part. I can't deal with it.
It's like taking an ACT test or something.
Yeah.
It just burns your mind.
Oh, dude, it's and anytime I do recordings, especially like a Frank record that takes weeks to do. And we still do those, fairly quick, but we it takes time. And every day that I'm having to do work when we're actually tracking, when I go home, it's my head just hurts.
Absolutely.
Because I guess maybe I'm not that good, but it's like I just feel like I put so much thought, and I stress out over everything, because the thing is, if you play one note, good or bad, every person hears it, and you can't, like live.
Yeah.
You can put a doo-doo note here and there, and they may not hear it, or you can hit the snare drum not quite as hard, and it may not be a big deal. But in the studio, everything is a big deal. And if you suck, or you make a mistake, or even if you play something that's played right, it just don't fit.
If it doesn't feel right or doesn't fit.
Yeah. I learned a lot from much more experienced studio players that I've had the chance to do sessions with. And some of the guys I'm talking about, where they'll come in.
Shout out to Dave Cohen.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I think he just won some kind of musicians award.
He should.
Absolutely.
He should.
He's a bad man.
He should look like a wrestler walking off with just belts
He needs
piled high on
He
his
needs
shoulders.
entrance music. Some kind of big organ.
Yeah, because he's
Screaming
incredible.
organ.
And the reason for that is because I've watched him in the studio many a time. Say to the producer, hey, let me make another pass and try this. And he'll make a whole nother pass and play something that's the most amazing thing you ever heard.
Play it perfectly.
Play it perfect, and then get done, and the producer or you, which you've done before, will say, don't think it fits. And he's just, okay, man, yeah. And if you told me that, I'd have to come in there with my knife.
Oh, man.
And cut you.
Yeah. Musicians get really married to their ideas and what they think is right or wrong, and he's a straight professional. He'll go...
That's right.
He'll say, all right, sounds good. No problem.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd rather just hold my hand and play one note here, which is what you want, rather than playing something that's cool.
He's looking to give you exactly what you want, and he will if you know what you want.
That's right.
One of the craziest things, and it's not that crazy for a studio musician at his level, but it's a crazy thing for a normal person to hear this story. We were recording this track, and we had Dave. He's a keyboard organ player, piano player, and we had him on the organ. And the track was going down, and it sounded great. And got to the end, and I listened through, and it sounded great. But there was this idea I had, and I came over the talkback microphone so he could hear me. He's in the other room. He's not even in the same room. I can't see him. He can't see me. Come over the other microphone. I said, "Hey, Dave, that sounded great. Hey, when you get to this measure, why don't you give me a and I just sang it to him. He go, all right. And I go, do you need to take your time to figure it out? No, just hit record. And I hit record, and it comes back better than I sang to him. And that's what is on Backwoods Baby Doll. He's playing that lick.
Yeah, he's nasty. Well,
killing it.
I don't get to make records with him anymore because He's
Costs too much these days.
Way up
Costs
the food
too
chain.
much.
Yeah. I remember the last time I talked to him, and I think this is what he told me. He's like, "Yeah, I just got done with a Barbara Mandrell record, and or some incredible like
He's
huge
playing with
artist.
everybody. He's playing with everybody.
You know, I'm like, dang, dude, that's awesome. But just the respect that I have for those guys and how they conduct business. And the coolest thing is since he's an incredible musician, he couldn't be a nicer guy, and most of them are like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The studio guys. Yeah.
So
yeah, because they won't call you back if you're an incredible musician and you're an asshole.
Zach, I was looking here at some of the news and things happening, and I was going to ask you, what would you do if you lived in Florida now?
That is a great question.
And the hurricane's coming.
All right. Let me ask you a few qualifiers. Am I there right now, or was I there earlier? Here, because let me tell you something. If I was there earlier, like, obviously I lived there, but if I knew earlier, I would get out. Like, a lot of people, they knew it was coming. I mean, was it Irma? Is that the name?
Yeah, Irma, yeah.
Irma, Big Irma.
She's big, yeah.
Big Irma's been coming for probably like a month or at least a few weeks. I've been hearing about this, and a lot of people are, waiting around. I think if you're there, you should know you need to get out. Like, get out early because the traffic's going to be insane. The gas is going to be gone. The plywood, they have shortage of plywood that I heard on the radio. So that's what I would do in a normal situation if I was there and, I hear it on the radio, hey, this big one might be coming. I get out early. But if I'm there now, still, where am I at? Am I in Miami? We'll say I'm in Miami. No?
Well, I'm not 100% familiar with the geographical part of
Miami,
the southern tip.
Miami's
I'm assuming that
at the bottom.
Okay.
It's about
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know whether or not maybe which scenario is better to discuss, whether you're in a big city or you're in a smaller town.
Well, either way, somewhere down south where
let's say Miami.
We'll say Miami because it's down there. It's hard to get out. And Florida is a long state. You been to Florida?
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been to Florida with you. What the hell? Anyway, Florida is a hell of a long state.
Yeah, and if you're down there,
it's going to take you forever to get out.
And so here's the deal. Here's a scenario.
All right.
You live down there.
All right.
You're not rich.
Okay.
So you can't afford to go buy a last minute plane ticket. All right. And you can't buy a last minute plane ticket because you got an animal.
Oh shit.
You got a dog. Even though you
big dog that won't ride a plane.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
I know you really don't realize, but for the sake of this,
sure,
you have a big dog. So you got to drive out of the state.
I got to drive out.
And here's the thing. Your house is going to get destroyed. So what do you bring? What do you preserve?
Okay.
And how do you prepare the house?
Well, obviously, they say, everyone puts the plywood up, but I heard that it's the plywood's in short supply.
Would that even matter? I mean, it's a hurricane.
Yeah, well, in certain hurricanes, but this one is coming at 185 miles an hour, and it might not matter as much.
If me and my boys are staying behind to loot, the plywood ain't going to stop us.
That's true, but like at that point, it's just like whatever happens, let the insurance
that's
sort
true.
it out. So
what do you take?
I take...
And you're in your Mustangs. You can't take much.
All right. I take my laptop. I take my phone. I take my guitar, my acoustic guitar. I take my original Nintendo.
Okay.
It's from 1985. I got it for my birthday when I was 5 years old.
Hey, totally
for Christmas.
I get it.
That's all I really need. Like, I'm not too hung up on possessions.
Yeah.
As long as I got the main stuff, like anything that I would take with me if I was going on the road or if I was going home to Ohio for like a week or on vacation.
Take the same stuff.
That's all I really need. Like, I mean, there was a point in my life, and you know this feeling when I could be told you need to be anywhere, and you get an hour notice.
Yeah. Somebody's calling you. Hope it's somebody important.
No, ain't that important.
Okay.
They don't have their name in my phone.
Oh, well, if they get the voicemail, and that's the way it is in my
Send
world.
them to the voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was definitely a point in my life where within an hour I could get hours notice and be anywhere, or less than that even. You know, I mean, it's not that much you really need. You need your clothes, your toothbrush, maybe your laptop and your cell phone. That's probably it.
You got any weapons? You gonna take any weapons with you? I mean, it might be interstate might be backed up. It might get
I need to get a weapon.
We need to get a weapon. You absolutely do.
I do not have a gun right now, and I probably should.
Here's the thing. Think about this. Imagine. Well, it's very interesting to ponder the idea. If the hurricane hits, by the time you're trying to leave, the interstate's backed up, so you can't sit there forever. You run out of gas.
Right.
Like, what would you do? How do you get back?
I mean, the try to hack it way would be hire a boat. But
yeah, that'd be and then just shoot across the Gulf and use. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So leave Florida and go to Alabama, Mississippi, go somewhere.
And then
drive.
If you can drive, yeah. If you can, take a ferry. If there's no ferries, then you hire somebody. I'll give you $2,000 to take me to Alabama. Yeah. You and your dog.
Sounds like you'd be hiring the cartel.
Whatever.
Out of Miami.
Whoever, that's right.
Yeah.
Whoever can take me. But yeah. Then rent a car. If it's not a ferry, rent a car and then drive from Alabama or Mississippi. Yeah. I don't know if that's possible, but that's an idea that I just had.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Or you could drive as long as you're leaving early, or maybe really late, because you wouldn't want to leave.
I think at this point, if you don't leave today, I mean, I'm sure traffic's bad now, but tomorrow it's probably going to be to the point to where it just creeps along and it's nearly impossible.
It'd be horrible to be stuck on the interstate.
Well, that's the other thing that I don't understand. If you're told and I'm not one that thinks the government knows everything, because I do not want to ever be in a position where I have to depend on them, but if they're telling you got to leave, the storm is the worst that you've ever had in that area, then why would you stay?
People are crazy. That's why.
The only reason I can think that
crazy.
You might stay is because you can't afford it. And I can somewhat understand that.
I mean, yeah. There's
but also,
people that don't have cars.
That's right. And I don't live down there, so I don't know. But I would think that if the government's going to tell you to move or leave, hopefully they provide a way.
Did you hear in the Hurricane Harvey situation, the government told people, leave. But if you're going to stay, write your name and your social security number on your arm.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought the mayor told him to stay in Houston, not to leave.
Well, that was Houston. That was different. We're talking about like the coast where it first hit. Wow. They said, if you're going to stay, write your name and your social security number on your arm so we can identify the body.
Last night I went to my ham radio club meeting.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that kind of guy. And
I know you are.
And so it's actually two clubs. The first is just a club, the Murfreesboro Stones River Radio Club, actually. And then after that is something called ARES, which is stands for Amateur Radio Emergency Service. Right. And so the guy who's over that, it's a nationwide thing. It's broken down into levels. You've got a guy who's in charge of Tennessee. Then there's a section commander of that section, and so on and so forth, and then down to club level commander, or I forget exactly what his term is. And what they do is in the event of like storms like these,
mm-hmm.
they can be asked to deploy by the Red Cross or whoever, and then they take their radio equipment and they go to the area and they handle communications, because obviously when a storm comes in, it's going to blow down cell towers and power and all that. So communicating is very difficult. And without going into that whole big story, he did speak a lot on the hurricane and went through some things to be mindful of if you were to be one of these people that volunteered to get deployed if that happened. I'm not going to do that.
So they're going to send guys down from Tennessee?
Well, that's the plan. Is if you want to go, I don't even want to have the equipment nor the expertise to go down there and do that.
Yeah, right.
But one of the things that he said that I never thought about that's pretty interesting. So he gave this little lecture type of thing with some slides, and he said, so when people in the area say, let's just take Nashville, and Nashville doing all these big drives, donate for Hurricane Harvey that just hit. And so for the case of this, we're going to say donate to Hurricane Irma. And so people bring tons of water and toilet paper and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then you get a group of buddies together and you say, we're going to go down there and volunteer. So you jump in the car or the van, and however many of you guys go. let's just say the Podunk Baptist Church is going to take a group down there. And they haven't called and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, they haven't coordinated with anybody.
But they're just ready to serve. And
we're going to go help them.
We're going to go help.
Yeah.
So they get in the church van and they tear out, right?
Yeah. Me and Matt Whitman did that for Katrina.
Yeah. All right. Well, you may be able to speak some truth or speak to some examples.
All right.
So
continue.
So they get in the van, they tear out down there, and they get there. Well, all the motels have been blown away or booked up. So where are they going to stay? You can't just roll out to the nearest McDonald's and get you a hamburger because it's been blown away.
That's right. No food.
So you got to go planning. You got to make sure. That's what this guy was telling us. If we get deployed, then there has to be a plan in place for food, not only for you but for the whole group and for how many days you're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
How you going to lodge? So does everybody need to bring tents? Do we need to arrange for something like that down there? That all those things have to be taken into account. Not only that,
gasoline.
where are you going to go to the bathroom?
Oof.
I mean, all these things that I never thought about. Like if you're
just going to go behind a pile.
Well, you will.
Behind the brush pile.
And then circling back to the people that are collecting all the toilet papers and the waters and all, if they just say, well, we're going to send stuff to Hurricane Katrina, like in your case.
Yes.
Well, unless you have a direct contact, where are you going to take it? Where are you going to go down there and dump it off in a corner?
Right.
So let's just say you go to like a big center and you drop your couple pallets of whatever it is you bring in to donate, let's say a bunch of water and toilet paper. Like this guy said at one point, because he had worked doing a lot of disaster stuff for Hurricane Andrew in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which was also in Florida. And he said they had a bunch of situations where they'd have a bunch of hardware stores donate nearly their whole stock.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to all the tools and hammers and nails and lumber, there'd be pesticides and chemicals that they donate.
Sure.
And if those stuff just sits out in the rain or out in the open and it spills, now you got a chemical spill. You got even more of a problem.
Yeah.
Or if you donate a bunch of clothes and it just sits out and it rains and gets wet, now you got
moldy clothes
and more debris to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as simple as just let's just donate stuff and donate.
I feel like there's a lot of things like that aren't as simple as people think.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Or people trying to be nice or helpful.
Yeah.
And they just make things worse.
That's right.
Funny story about what you're talking about. So me and Matt Whitman tear out in his truck. We filled his truck up. We took donations from people around the area for Katrina, and drove from Nashville, headed down towards Louisiana. But we weren't going down all the way. We were going to where his family lived and where he's from in North Louisiana. So we had a place to stay.
Because it didn't get demolished.
No. Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. But they were doing a lot of relief effort up there. There were a lot of churches taking goods, canned goods, and clothing and stuff. So that's what we're going to go do. And there was even a lot of people that were displaced from the hurricane up there in different shelters and things. And so we're going to go help out around there. But we're on the way down. We get down Alabama, Mississippi, somewhere in there, pretty far south, and gas starts running out, and we're getting low on gas to the point where it's like, I pull over at the station. Oh man, there's a big line, and all the lights are off. They're waiting for the morning when the truck comes, and it's oh man. So all right. Keep on going. So we look for gas for 30 minutes or an hour or something. We finally find this Walmart. They got gas. Huge line. So we're in line. Pull off at the Walmart. Everyone's there trying to get gas. Waiting in line. We waited for a few hours. At one point, Matt Whitman turns to me and he goes, if we don't get gas, I have no problem eating some of that food in the back of the truck. like we're in this dire situation. I go, Matt, we're in the parking lot of a 24-hour Walmart.
That's true. Take your debit card in there and buy something.
That's right. They're fully stocked, son. We're gonna be all right. It was not.
Well, I mean, that brings up an interesting point. In those times, people don't think about what it would be like in the event that you can't get gas.
Yeah. Gas is a big deal that people don't often think about?
Yeah, I read a lot of books. Like to read, and I recently read this book by this. Well, I won't get into too many details about it, but the scenario was very, very interesting. And I'm not a survivalist or prepper. I don't have any food stored or anything like that. I'm not into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do like to backpack and hike in the mountains. And so the idea of like being prepared to, at least survive like a day or so is kind of neat in my mind.
Absolutely.
I find it interesting.
Yeah.
Because if you go backpacking in the woods, and you only can take whatever you can carry in your pack, and and it's
for
not
sure.
like car camping. So so I think about that sort of stuff from a camping perspective. But anyway, the scenario in this book was that this guy went on a business trip. It was a novel, obviously. This guy went on a business trip, and he was kind of one of those people that always were prepared. And terrorists decided all at the same time to basically take out the electrical grid in the country. And there was no gas, there was no power, there was only obviously gas that was in the tanks. Now some of the countries still had power, obviously, and some of the cell towers worked. But the whole idea behind this book was, how was this guy going to get back home? Because he was on a business trip.
Where was he from? Or where was he at?
He was from somewhere in Virginia, and he was only in Richmond, but it was like a 5 to 6 hour drive. So not far.
Yeah.
But when you can't drive 5 or 6 hours,
That's days.
So but he was in a hotel,
Yeah.
and so he thinks, well, I'll just stay in this hotel. Him and like the people he was on a business trip with, we're just going to stay in the hotel. And the government, we'll see what happens. Well, after like a couple of days of realizing nothing's going to change,
Nothing's happening.
They
no
could
one's
either-
coming for you.
That's right. Well, they could wait for the FEMA bus to come get them and take them to like a FEMA place.
That sounds scary.
Super scary. Or they could just go out on their own and try to make their way. Because what started happening is all the people that didn't have food or gas, well, they start looking for food or gas.
No.
Yeah. And so it's a very believable situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so then you take that scenario and you put it in South Florida. Let's say you stay and things are so bad.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that the guy at the radio meeting last night told me that I also didn't know was when people say the hurricane's going to make landfall at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Well, from what he told me, that actually means that's when the eye of the storm makes landfall.
That's right. Yeah.
The half of the storm is already in land.
Yeah, exactly. And the worst part of the storm is before the eye.
That's right. And or after. So you really got two monster storms.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
So if you stay, you got to go through the storm potentially two times.
Yes.
So let's say you stay and if things get demolished in such a way that they can't get down there and help you. Roads are blown up, bridges are blown up. There's so much flooding, supply trucks can't get through.
Mm-hmm.
Emergency people can't get through. So there's an easily believable scenario that you could be down there for a week or more
with no food, no electricity,
food, that's right.
no gas.
And so let's just say you had some food and stuff at your house.
Right.
And
say what I have in my house right now.
That's right. Let's say you went to the grocery
pantry
store.
full of regular food,
Yeah.
regular food pantry, nothing insane.
And you're a single dude, so you can make that last.
Yeah. If I saw it coming.
That's right.
If not, I would just blow through it because I'm hungry.
But if I'm Billy Bob down the street here and I got a family and I'm already running out, then I'm coming over to your house and I'm finna take your food.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just the way it is.
That's right.
And
there's no
it's
one
a survival
to call.
thing.
No one to call.
No, you ain't finna call 911.
No. You can't.
You can't.
Cell phone ties out.
And so it's just interesting. It's very, at least for me, it's an interesting thing to think about and to go over that scenario.
Yeah.
Like, what would you do? How would you be prepared?
How quickly society can crumble into
That's right.
wild.
Yeah. And
Just-
you look at like the North Korean threat with the nuclear stuff, and then like I fully feel protected. I feel like our military can stop a nuclear missile if it's shot at us that far away. I would like to think so.
I've heard things about it where it's like they think they can.
Well, they think that, yeah, you know what happened.
And the thing is, the problem is they're shooting that rocket, whatever rocket they have, it goes to space.
It goes to space, that's right.
Like 300 and something miles into space.
I don't think people realize that. I think they just think it just flies through the sky.
Yeah.
That's not the case. No.
And it's hard as hell to shoot something that goes into space out of the air.
Yeah.
Like, insane. They think they can,
But they don't really know until they...
Some percentage of the time. And I don't think they've ever done it for... I mean, they obviously have never done it for real, or at least not that we know of. The other thing with that is their range right now. Their range, I believe they can... I think they could get to... I know they can get to... What is it, Guam? Is it Guam?
Yeah, they can supposedly easily shoot Guam.
Well, Guam, yeah. And then I think Alaska...
What about Alaska? I thought they could hit the mainland, like the eastern United States. They can't?
Let me take a look. Because the last one I saw, it was like Alaska.
Because, I mean, if a nuclear... This is the interesting thing. I keep saying interesting all over. I can't stop saying that word for some reason. But
that's good. Keep the podcast interesting.
Keep it interesting. The thing that is really interesting is, what would the world be like if a nuclear bomb went off anywhere today? And especially if it triggered a war with North Korea and one was shot at us and then we, shot back. I mean,
we'd blow them up. I mean, but the problem is, it's not just North Korea. They have allies. They got China.
That's right.
They got Russia.
And you got all the world economies that would be involved.
Whew.
And then 30 miles away is Seoul, Korea, which was one of the largest cities in the world. And it would be it'd be demolished in seconds.
Well, the problem is, Russia and China and the United States, I mean, not super best friends, but we all have these big economies now that we all know we want to keep going and prosperous and all this stuff. China's economy has grown insanely since like back, 80s, 70s, 60s.
But it's largely dependent on the United States.
Exactly. It's all interdependent now.
Yeah.
Everyone's interdependent. So China, Russia, United States, we all have all this capability, but we all want to keep everything fairly buddy-buddy, even if, we're not the best of friends, like cordial. North Korea is just like insane. He's doing things that don't make any sense. It's like attention. It's like somebody that wants attention.
It is, but the thing that I can't figure out is part of me thinks that he'll never do it. I thought that until he tested a nuke last week, but I thought, he'll never do it because surely he knows.
Surely. See, I agree.
If he makes us come into battle, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no more family regime. It's over.
That's right.
He dies. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
So why would you do that? I mean, I can understand you want to keep some things going and keep your people thinking you're the greatest thing ever.
There's got to be some reason.
I mean, he's as close to going too far as.
Oh, he's damn close. Is it showing off for his people? I mean, that might be it. Like he's just getting attention and showing off, or
potentially. But they already think he's God. I mean, he's looked at like that.
Well,
over there,
they make them act like that.
Well, sure. I'm really curious of like the people that are diplomats that go out from North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then like the Olympic athletes that go and participate. I mean, they instantly see that everything they're taught is completely false.
I think a lot of them know it.
Oh, I'm sure they know.
I think a lot of them know it, but I mean, you don't want to get fed to the dogs like his uncle.
But you just wonder, like at some point, like if I was a somewhat well-to-do North Korean, and I have no idea what I'm talking about, so this is probably not impossible. But if I was a well-to-do North Korean,
yeah,
and let's say I was up in his, the upper echelons of the government in that country, even though he is the head honcho and what he says goes, I would try. I mean, it wouldn't take. I don't think it'd be that hard. You find one person, then you find two people that are like you, as far as have somewhat of authority, and say, look, if our leader does this, we all die.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there is no other alternative. So let's shut him down. Like, is that even possible?
Yeah, you would think that that's possible, but I did hear a guy on the Joe Rogan podcast that has been to North Korea and written books on it talk about the dynamic of like what keeps all those people in line. And I don't remember exactly what he described, but there's some dynamic where, I think this is kind of the gist of it. Basically, if you step out of line, you get killed, or if you leave, you leave and they can't get you, your family gets killed, their family gets killed. Like, they kill you like 3 generations back, something, insane like that, and it keeps everyone in line because
Yeah.
if you're saying you were North Korean and you knew the truth, you knew what it was, and you couldn't take it anymore. You had to leave. You had to go to South Korea or America, whatever.
Yeah.
You take off, and you just sign the death sentence of your family.
Your family. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've been told.
I mean, and that's going to keep people in line.
Yeah. Well, I have been told that the diplomats, they make them leave, like if you have 3 sons, they make you leave a son there.
Sure.
You know,
oh yeah.
That. Also, the New York Post has a story right now that I just clicked on here, and it says North Korea. The headline is North Korean capital is a ghost town amid nuclear testing, and that's today. It says North Korean capital looks positively post-apocalyptic in aerial footage that emerged this week.
So they evacuated everyone, or
well, no one really knows. I mean,
yeah,
it just looks that way. Of course, I mean, and I'm looking at it. There's an airplane flying through, and there's not a single car on the streets. There's you can't see anything.
Yeah.
So that's mighty interesting. I did see a story the other day that said the North Korean government was keeping an eye on U.S. Citizens in South Korea, and figured that if there was ever any kind of evacuation orders given for U.S. citizens in South Korea, that would be the what do you want to call it? Basically, letting them know there's about to be an attack.
That's the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
And
that hadn't happened.
I'm looking at a map right here of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different missile ranges of North Korea. Super interesting map. It's got North Korea right in the center, and it's got the circle of the globe around it. Everything around North Korea, and each circle is the range of one of their missiles. And the first one, obviously, will go to South Korea and Japan and parts of China. Second one, it goes all the way through Japan. Doesn't really get anything out Russia, obviously. The third one goes to 4,000 kilometers. That's Guam. Their biggest longest range missile, the Taepodong 2.
Okay.
Taepodong 2.
Yeah,
will go
I'm
6.
Sure, that's exactly.
That's what it's called. I swear. It's 6,000 kilometers, and that's gonna go all the way through Indonesia, India, Russia. It just gets Alaska. So that's as.
So they don't. According to that, there's nothing that can get the main.
According to this one, I don't know how old this is. I know there might be something new. It will touch the tip of Australia, the northern tip of Australia. It does have a range for that. Oh, it looks like there's a new one. Hold on. New information coming. New shit has come to light. Let's see. I believe this new one, if I can find here we go. Well, everything I just said is wrong. The new one will go all the way to Mexico. Oh, it's under development. So there you go. Maybe it's not ready for sure. It's not ready for prime time yet. So we're maybe safe.
Well, yeah, or they develop it and sell it to a terrorist who sneaks it in. That's another possible theory.
Well,
but who knows? I mean,
here's the thing: you just gotta keep living your life. I mean,
well, yeah, absolutely.
You can be prepared for certain things, but like if you worry about it every single day, then it's you're
and that's what I think is some of the people who that's all they focus on. That I got to get my underground fort built, and I got to do all this. It's like, you know what? That people have been doing that.
Who wants to live that way?
That's right. And they've been doing that since the Cold War, thinking that any minute it's over.
Here's the thing. Everyone, I see a lot of things on Facebook talking about the end times and Revelation and Jesus coming back finally.
Yeah.
Every single person since Jesus was here
that's right.
thought that they were special.
Yeah.
They thought they were the special ones. And it's finally ending.
Yeah.
Think about World War II.
See, to me, that would have been, if I was alive then, I would have thought this is got to be it.
That's got to be it. I mean,
you've got the Jews, for the most part, nearly being wiped out.
Yes.
You've got, obviously, the nuclear bombs. The whole world is in a war.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, what else could happen?
Millions and millions and millions of soldiers dying, millions and millions and millions of civilians dying, famine, it's how could you not think that this is it?
Yeah.
If it was going to be it, that was it.
That was it. Well, the Bible simply says no man knows the hour.
Yeah.
And so as long as someone thinks, oh, the eclipse is coming, because I read that there were many people that thought that was
the
it.
eclipse. I see, the hurricanes. There's 3 hurricanes right now. There's been 3 hurricanes multiple times. There's been 4 hurricanes at a time.
Yeah,
multiple times. The earthquake. There was an earthquake in Mexico yesterday, a big one. It was pretty crazy off the coast.
I didn't know that. No.
An 8 they say 8.1. Mexico says 8.4. Huge. Last I heard, there was 35 people died, which is small for an earthquake that big.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was a tsunami, but there was threat of a tsunami.
Wow.
But all that to say, like, I saw somebody just yesterday talking about, this is it. This is the end times.
That's
and
but
it's
not. It may be, but no one knows, and there's no point. There's no single point of worrying about that from a valuable or a
it's not
worldly
it's not gonna help.
Possession kind of thing.
It will not improve your life at all to worry about that.
No.
You deal with the situation, be observant, know if the hurricane's coming, but
be prepared.
Be prepared, but don't
make smart choices.
That's it.
That's all you got to do. Have
Make smart choices. That's a good slogan.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, just have a little common sense,
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we've been going for quite a while. We probably ought to wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
This has been a good one. I think this is number 3. I really can't keep track anymore.
Who knows how many we've done?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter. Ain't no hobby.
So don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to give us a good like. Go to the Facebook. Go to ain'tnohobby.com. Ain't No Hobby Facebook.
Get you a t-shirt on ain'tnohobby.com.
Get a t-shirt. That's what I'm talking about.
We got all them football shirts. We're soon going to have some hunting shirts.
Ooh, don't tell them yet, son.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
We're going to have some really cool stuff coming up, and hopefully this podcast will get even that much cooler. We'll bring some cool people in soon. But we hope you guys do enjoy just hearing us talk about whatever. And if you don't like it, then don't listen. But if you do like it, like I said, give us a subscribe, give us a like, and we'll catch you again later. Peace.
Peace.